Crossover Thursday is presented by PrizePicks. Download the app and use code LOCKEDON to win $50 instantly when you play $5. Tyler, keys to victory for the Tennessee Titans looks like what?
Well, number one, you got to stop the run. I think that if you let Joe Mixon run the football all over you, like happened against the Cowboys, you're cooked. There's no way. The only chance you have is to get the Texans in the 3rd and long. And even then, because they've been so good with explosive plays, it's going to be difficult to get stops. I just think the Titans are going to struggle. But you get them into 3rd and long, and then the Titans pass rush can do some things. So number one, the Titans have to stop the run, have to get Joe Mixon cold. Don't let him get hot. I think on the offensive side of the ball, the Titans have to use play action to attack the secondary. I think the only hope, the Titans aren't going to have 10, 12 play drives on the Texans. They need explosives. The Titans hit 8 explosive plays last week against the Vikings, and it should have been 10 if these plays weren't called back by a petty referee. And I know Texans fans are rolling their eyes at me, but trust me, even Vikings fans were saying the Titans got screwed in this one. Like, it was crazy. But anyways, the two big things: stop the run when you're on defense, set up 3rd and long for the Texans, create explosive passing plays through play action against this Texans secondary, where you talked about the cornerback position. Look, I really like Jalen Petrie. I like the Texans defense overall. It's a good defense. But if you had to choose a place to attack it, it's the secondary. That's where I'm attacking. Not the linebackers, not the defensive line. That's not who I want to take advantage of. It's going to be difficult no matter who you go after. But I want to attack downfield against this Texans secondary and see if they can cover, especially if you can get Calvin Ridley off of Derek Stingley Jr., which would be fantastic. And I'm sure Brian Callahan is in the lab right now thinking of ways to do exactly that. So stop the run on defense, heavy play action on offense to create plays down the field, and then you can't lose the turnover battle. If the Titans lose the turnover battle on the road against a better football team, they are screwed. So that's the number one thing. If you're gonna have an upset, you got to win the turnover battle. It's the ultimate equalizer in the NFL.
And that's exactly where I wanted to start. For the Houston Texans, they got to create turnovers, and that's something that they've been able to do. 6 interceptions in the last 2 weeks. And if we look at the drop interceptions, could potentially be up to 10 in the last 2 weeks. And I think that
they dropped a bunch of them against the Cowboys. I felt like
dropped a
every time I
bunch
turn
of them.
around.
Derek Stingley alone, I think he dropped 3, caught 1, dropped 3. Kalen Bullock dropped 1. And so creating those turnovers will help with the field position battle, and that'll give Houston a short field to work with. And I think that this is a quarterback in Will Levis that will give you the opportunities to do so. You just got to take advantage. But I also will say that another key to victory, dominating up front. The offensive line were able to have a very good and balanced game against Dallas. 2 different defensive lines. Dallas D-line is a little bit light in the butt compared to Jeffrey Simmons and Big Sweat. So those are some monster of men that you're going to have to worry about and block. And so it's going to be a collective goal. You got to include the tight ends, because I think that if you dominate up front, you give Joe Mixon the running lanes that he absolutely will need. And Joe Mixon only needs a little small room of light to maybe cut back and pick up extra yards. Then that's going to lead me to key to victory number 3. And that's what you said, play action passes. TJ was phenomenal, hit over 90% of his play action passes against the Dallas Cowboys. And if Joe Mixon is running well, that defense is going to be forced to kind of step up a little bit. And then that's where you'll see guys like a Dalton Schultz leak out, a Cade Stover leak out. The tight end group against Dallas did a very good job. I think 8 targets, caught 6 of them. Those guys, their roles are small, but they're big, because that can allow this team to sustain drives. And also, of course, Tank Dell and John Mechie and the big name Nico Collins, because they will want those shots down the field. And then additionally, Bobby, build off what you just did, man. I thought Bobby called the best game of his season against Dallas. And again, 2 totally different defenses, but you gotta, for Bobby, you gotta understand the personnel that you're going up against and know when to make those adjustments. And I thought that he did a very good job of that for the most part through 4 quarters. So those are all the key to victories. And I think my score prediction for this game is going to be another tight one. And Tennessee and Houston always plays each other close. I'm
Yep.
looking at a 23-20 type of game for the Houston Texans.
You know what's crazy, man? That is exactly what I am thinking as well. That literally, I make my little graphics every week that I use on the show, what my score prediction is. And right now, I do have Texans 23, Titans 20. I like the Titans plus the 8.5. I think this is close. The Titans are a better team than 2-8. Not much better. Not much better. But I think they're a little bit better than 2-8. Levis really screwed them early in the year with some of his turnovers. I think you made a great point about the tight ends and the running backs too, because the Titans are very susceptible over the middle of the field. Kenneth Murray is a disaster in coverage.
You do not like Kenneth Murray, man. I see him on your timeline every week.
Yeah, I hated that signing. And like, he makes these plays where he comes downhill and he hits a running back hard, or he'll blitz because he's a good blitzing linebacker and he'll get pressure on a quarterback. And Titans fans will be like, who only watch the game for 3 hours on Sunday and never watch the film. They're like, he's good. See, look, he's got tackles. Look at that play made. But when you watch the film and you see him get taken advantage of, like, if I'm the Texans and I'm a Texans fan and I play fantasy football or I gamble, Tank Dell. Huge props on Tank Dell.
Is this going to be a Tank Dell week?
Because he's going to be over the middle with that speed, and the Titans linebackers and their backup safety, aside from and even Amani Hooker isn't the fastest safety in the league as he gets older. So I really think the Texans can hit that play action over the middle of the field, take advantage of the middle of the field zone defense of the Titans. And the Titans run a lot of cover 4 and cover 4 man, where the outside cornerbacks have deep vertical responsibilities, and it really opens up the flats. You can hit little passes out into the flats to the running backs and to the tight ends and have them turn up field and get big yardage. So I think the tight ends and the running backs will be huge for the Texans, not only helping with the blocking against the Titans defensive line, but then taking advantage of the Titans deficiencies in defense. But I think 23-20 is very solid. Now, I will tell you this.
What you got?
I kind of smell a Titans upset in this one. Because the Texans just came off a really easy game. They came off a really easy game where they blew out the Cowboys. They're feeling good. They're feeling great. It's a division game, like you said, so it's always going to be a little bit closer. The Titans are playing better football than they played earlier in the season, and just sometimes these things happen. And I'll just say this. I think the Texans are a good team. I think they win the division. I think they win a playoff game. I do. But the Texans have not played their best football, and they are primed for a trap game loss. Like, they need a loss
I think
to shake
Houston
them
has
out
had
of
their
kind
trap
of
game loss. The Jets was a trap game loss, and I think that this is a desperate team.
And it was
that was a 2-16. What was it? Lost 4 games straight or something along those lines. Aaron Rodgers just looking god awful. Then we saw what he did in the second half. Right. The Texans are a desperate team because they know they have the easiest part of their schedule right now. Dallas, Tennessee, Jacksonville. Right after that, you got Miami, you got Baltimore, you got Kansas City. Those last 2 teams are the cream of the crop. You don't get a chance to play the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They may be looking ahead, John. They may be classic look ahead.
But I say that to say they know and understand if we're gonna have a shot against those guys, we gotta get the ball rolling right now. Monday night was a good stepping stone. Yeah. They will have a tough game against you guys, and I'm honestly hoping for a fight on the field. I just like good, nasty football.
And always something Dallas. Like that when the Titans and Texans play, man.
So I need that excitement and entertainment. But I think that this will be a game where they still settle in offensively to where we're not going to see CJ leave a game without a touchdown. I think he's going to throw his touchdown this week against Tennessee. And I think this will be the game where they just build off of what they were able to accomplish against the Dallas Cowboys, because there are some things that worked. You look at Laramie Tunsil, if he's not upfield engaging, the first play of the game for Houston was a 70-plus yard TD to Nico Collins.
And I needed that. I had some Nico Collins money, man. I needed that. I'm salty about it. I'm not happy with Laramie Tunsil, man. I'm not.
Yeah, the Texan fans and Andre Ware have not been happy with Laramie Tunsil, but like they're gonna figure it out. And I think this is just one of those games where Tennessee is gonna punch them in the mouth. Texans are gonna punch back. but they're going to figure it out, and they're going to score some points, and they're going to win this game.
I could see the Titans scoring early. Like it could be like 13-10 Titans at halftime, and then the Texans end up winning 23-20. You know what I mean? Like something like that. The Texans are the better team, and the longer you play a football game, the more talent wins. It's a classic thing in all team sports. The longer it goes, that's why you don't want to go into overtime if you're an underdog and stuff like that, because the better team is eventually just going to win with the talent. But I do think it'll be a close game. That's why I like the Titans plus the 8.5, even if the Texans end up winning.